Hey everybody, welcome to MT Guitar. Today I want to show you the most bluesy chord progression by Pink Floyd, without a doubt, is Money. We're going to talk about why. This progression is just a beautiful example of a 12-bar blues. I'm going to show you a couple songs that are also bluesy. Pink Floyd is known as a band with many styles and genres and influences, of course, blues being a huge one of them. David Gilmour is without a doubt one of the best blues rock guitar players ever, one of the most memorable in terms of his solos. And so here is a song that is uniquely fitted to his masterful lyrical playing. You know, there's other songs that are bluesy, like for instance we could think about Breathe, you know, E minor 7 to A, and surely, you know, you could think of that as a little bit bluesy. There are some songs that are just straight up a blues song, like Seamus, for instance. Although we don't have an electric guitar solo on that, and it's pretty acoustic, right? Comfortably Numb's bluesy, of course. You could say every song with a David Gilmour guitar solo has some blues elements. As far as the blues, we want to define it. What is the blues? Well, it's a 12-bar form. Generally, we consider the blues to be a 12-bar form that's repeatable. And when we play this bass line, it's a walking bass line. So what else creates the blues besides a form? Well, a certain shuffle or groove. And the walking bass line creates that groove, right? So this walking bass line means every quarter note we're hearing a bass note. And this is a big blues technique, walking bass, also used in jazz quite a bit, to get a groove. Because in blues, we're really concerned about the rhythm and the mood. A lot of times blues progressions don't change a lot, so we might be on the chord for a while. So it's very important to set a strong groove and have it be almost trance-like or hypnotic. I got a letter this morning, that's one of the really popular aspects of early blues, is it's so different from the more like chord progression, Tin Pan Alley type of songs in the early 1900s, where these blues, Delta blues artists were just getting you in a trance. They would do that live as well, where they would just hang on a couple chords and get everyone in a groove, and it's very intoxicating. And so this chord progression is barely moving for a while. We have, in fact, 8 bars of this B minor. So we're really feeling the groove. No need to go anywhere until the 8th time we go to E, still walking. That's the 4 chord. Back to the 1 chord. We got to get to the turnaround. Well, that's the 5 chord. Here it is. And then the turnaround. And then the turnaround sort of has to finish up on that B. And then the form starts over then. So the turnaround is a way to get us back to the top. A lot of times a turnaround will have, you know, for instance, like chromatically walking down notes, or if I'm in a major blues, maybe something like that, where the notes are chromatically getting us somewhere, often to get a sense of resolution, right? We want to turn it around. So this is like a really cool, creative turnaround all the way down, and then finishing the form up. So let's count the bars. We're going to count all 24 bars, and it's going to be everything that a 12-bar form has, but half time. So what does that mean? Well, usually in a 12-bar blues, we'd expect 4 bars of the 1 chord. Well, in that case, it's B minor for Money. 4 bars. Now it's 8, so we just times it by 2. All right, what's the 4 chord? Well, usually in a 12-bar blues, that would be 2 bars of it. After 4 bars, bars 5 and 6 would be a 4 chord. Well, in this case, it's 4 bars. We just times it by 2. So we have 8 bars of the 1 chord, 4 bars of the 4 chord. So everything's doubled. Then we usually go back to the 1 chord for 2 bars. Well, you've guessed it. Now it's 4 bars. Then we have the turnaround. The turnaround usually in total lasts 4 bars. It has some combination of the 5 chord, 4 chord, and 1 chord, but it's about 4 bars long. Well, this is 8 bars long. All right, so we're going to count it out and notice that it's a 12-bar blues in halftime. Ready? I'm going to use my looper as well to reinforce it. 2. Here's 1 bar, 2 bars, 3 bars, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Here here's the fourth chord coming up. 2, 3. Got to keep the groove going. 4. Back to the 1 chord for 4 bars. That's 2, 3. Ready for the turnaround? 1, 2. But now, this last 2 bars, we need 4 bars to go to complete the form. And then we'll have the solo. So that solo is so in the pocket of that groove. I mean, Gilmour, like I said, was sort of born for this solo, if I may be so bold in saying. That groove is perfect for his type of playing, his type of phrasing. In that solo, he's playing the blues scale, right? No accident there. The minor pentatonic and blues scale are almost identical. We're just adding a blue note. So what are the blue notes? We've talked about the 12-bar blues form. Well, the blue notes are generally flatted 5th, flatted 3rd, and even flatted 7th, right? The flatted 5th being the most famous. Every time Gilmour's bending, including the very first note, he's basically bending to a flat 5. You could make an argument that he's bending to the full 5. But in order to get to the 5, he's got to get through the flat 5 first. Okay? Immediately goes to the flat 3, another blues note. Now, very bluesy sounding right there, right? That would be the flat 7, bending to the root. Now, we want it to sound almost like a voice crying out, right? So that's a big part of Gilmour's tone, is that it's not just like, and it technically would be the right note, I guess, but we want it to be vibrato, we want it to be with some gusto, some attack. I'm raking some muted strings. I've got the bridge pickup on. It's an important aspect of Gilmour's tone often, is not always, but a lot of times he likes that bridge pickup on a Strat. So, blue notes. Just repeats the phrase. Now, no, sorry. Okay? Now he's getting up to a higher frequency when he goes. That's just classic blues phrasing right there. That would be going up to the 5 through the bend, and then unbend, pull off, land on the root, right? So Gilmour is using some of the most classic blues phrasings you can use over this halftime 12-bar blues. What are some other elements of blues? I mean, we'll go over the solo note for note in a separate video. But let's keep talking about what makes a chord progression or a song a blues song. We've got the blue notes of the solo and the singing. We've got the 12-bar blues form in halftime. The lyrics are important. Usually it'd be like lyrics of hardship, right? Well, this is a funny one because this is a Roger Waters original. And, you know, he was being ironic, acting like money is so great, but it was an anti-money song, or an anti-greed song, if you will. So he's talking about money, you know, get away, get a good job with good pay, and you're okay. Money, it's a gas. Grab that cash with both hands and make a stash, right? He's basically talking like this is some great stuff here, money. But then as the song progresses, he makes the point, ironically, in most cases, that money is the root of all evil, right? Famous line in that song. So the hardship is ironic, but it's still there. Money is sort of, you know, this bad thing that is corrupting and whatnot. Okay, so now we have the lyrics. That's all bluesy and good. Usually we repeat something in blues, right? You say something a couple times. So he keeps coming back to money. So even lyrically and conceptually, it's written as a blues song. Which is partially, if I may talk about the history real quick, a big reason that this was a huge surprise to the band, because this became a massive hit. and the band was sort of shocked because they thought, well, this is just a fun bluesy number. You know, they knew Dark Side of the Moon had a lot of potential hits, but they didn't necessarily know this would be the one that would propel them. And it's somewhat ironic that this song propelled them into not only fame, but into riches, right? The song Money. All right, another thing I've kind of touched on, but let me just touch on it again, is the groove. Blues is all about groove and shuffle. So what is a shuffle? Let's talk about that. If I put this loop on, maybe turn off this distortion for now, and I have this loop, I'm going to do some rhythm, I'm going to do some up strums on some shuffles. This is something that Gilmour does during the solo with the other guitar, right? So it's like... Right? What's going on there? Well, those are all up strums, right? So you hear that all throughout the song. For one thing, Gilmour was very conscious of space. He doesn't want to blast the whole mix with rhythm guitar necessarily. He wants to leave space for Richard Wright and Waters and Mason, space for his solos, and also just space in general, right? Because you don't want to just bombard the space. So he's going to play on these upbeats. Now, if I just did it like a march, it would be very different, right? I don't even want to do it because it will ruin the song. But if you did Money straight, it would sound very different. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 2 and 3 and 4, right? 3 and 4. So that shuffle means it's scientifically it's like a 12/8 African groove, where it's the 1 2 1 2 3 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 triplet 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 triplet. So it's a triplet pattern where you're playing the first and third one. But don't overthink that. Really, I mean, you don't need to know that to do a shuffle. It's just a swung eighth, meaning 1 and 2 3 and 4, and the and is coming at the last second. Okay, the and is coming later than a straight eighth. It will be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Same tempo, but swung eighths. All right. So again, that's coming from a blues tradition, from an African American tradition of 12/8 being a big part of African music, and so there's a whole history to that. That's really fascinating. So when we play blues, we want to get that shuffle. A lot of songs do not have this, especially nowadays. But even many Pink Floyd songs do not have a shuffle. So this is a characteristic that's, you know, very bluesy. When you're practicing, you might want to put on a loop. And I'm going to teach this solo in a different video. But if you're going to do this loop, let's talk about how to make this loop. All right, so I'm going to teach you this bass line, and then I'm going to play the solo one more time so that you can see how you can practice over the song. And if we're doing a bass line, right, we have a 4-note pattern. We go 2, 5, 4, 3. This is all over a B minor, right? But there's no B minor strumming necessarily besides that up strum. So really, it's the bass line that's carrying this rhythm part for the solo. So we go 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5. And you want to make sure that quarter note groove is strong. You're going to do this 8 times. I recommend looping this, practicing your B minor blues scale. That's the 8th time. Now for the E minor, go up to 7th fret. And you're going to do this 4 times. You're going to go 7, 6, 5, 4, 7, 4 times. Back to B minor 4 times. So we're more than halfway there. For the turnaround, which it's F sharp minor, it's the 5 chord. All right, so we have 2, 4, 3, 2. So that's the F sharp bass, 6th string, 2nd fret, 4th fret, 4th string, and you're going to go 4, 3, 2, 2, 4, 3, 2 twice. Now for the walk down, right? Everyone loves this part. It's so good. Okay, that's it. So it'd be high B. So that's 4th fret, 3rd string, 2. That's, you know, 2nd fret, 3rd string. So it's 4, 2. Now the 4th string, 5, 4, 2, 5, 4, 3, and then it goes back to the B minor for 4 times. So that's 4, 2, 5, 4, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2. Walk it 4 more times. Okay, so now if you put on some distortion, you can have fun. You don't even have to play the solo note for note. I'm going to start with Gilmour's solo to end this video, and then I'm going to start playing some Gilmour-like phrases so you can practice your B minor pentatonic and blues scale over this progression, all right? Obviously the second half, but I'm just going to leave it there and kind of do some Gilmour stuff. Alright, I really just want to be really deliver it, really bluesy. Probably want to catch that. I don't have a 24 fret. So you don't have to play too many notes, right? Playing a blues, whether it's slow, medium, or fast, can really help you to get better at your technique and tone because it's forcing you to make good phrases, okay? With blues, we don't care about a million notes. We care about what are you doing with these 3 or 4 notes. So the most bluesy chord progression by Pink Floyd is Money, without a doubt, and a really wonderful one to loop and to practice over. I'm going to be covering the solo note for note in its different video, the entire thing where, you know, it kind of has that interlude and then goes back into it. You could probably get a good snapshot of it from here. I'm going to be posting that at some point on the Patreon, probably not right away until I do the solo later. So look for that. Head over to patreon.com/mtguitar for a bunch of tabs and study guides and some backing tracks. A lot of Pink Floyd Friday stuff up there. So I hope you're doing well. Remember to subscribe, hit the bell icon and the thumbs up. Good luck with your guitar playing. Remember to enjoy. Remember to, you know, get the blues going as much as you can. All right, everyone. Thanks.